So coming into this season for the Packers, there are a lot of uncertainties when it came to this offensive line. Just think back last year, the Packers in the offseason decided to let Corey Linsley go, one of the best centers in the NFL. And me personally, I was wondering, okay, I mean, it's probably tough to pay all the guys you want to pay, clearly with the salary cap, going down as it did last year. The Packers also wanted to keep around Aaron Jones. And so the Packers did lose Corey Linsley. And then coming into this season, when the season is starting, there were questions as to, will David Bakhtiari be able to come back soon? There were some ideas like, okay, maybe he can come back week 1, maybe not. But clearly, as we've seen up to this point, he has yet to come back, and it's been basically a year since he did tear his ACL. So coming into the season, there were a few question marks just already with the fact of Corey Linsley being gone and also David Bakhtiari potentially not being able to start. And when you have two, I think, of your top offensive linemen not playing to start the season, that you had the year prior, it made me a little bit concerned. I was like, okay, hopefully the Packers can find a way to get it done. But I still was uncertain as to whether or not it was going to work. Clearly in the offseason, the Packers came in and drafted center Josh Myers to sort of fill that hole for Corey Linsley. But still at the same time, it's like, are you going to rely on a rookie to, hold up on the center of your offensive line? But just now to look at this Packers offensive line and how they've been able to hold up, because going back to the start of the season, I thought, just being without Corey Linsley and potentially David Bakhtiari could have been an issue. But then now, if we look at all the injuries and all the things that have happened to this offensive line, it's honestly crazy how good this offensive line has been. Because if you'd have told me all these injuries and all these different things that have happened to this offensive line and the Packers would still be playing at the level they're playing at, I may not have believed you, just because of, how much damage has happened to this offensive line. First off, we have David Bakhtiari, obviously didn't come in here this season and start, hasn't played the entire season. So that means, of course, Elgton Jenkins moved out to left tackle, where he played really well, but clearly, him moving there, he moves out of left guard, so it maybe makes that spot a little weaker, because he's, a beast at pretty much every position he plays. But then, of course, around a month ago, Elgton Jenkins goes down at left tackle, and now we're like, okay, we're basically without our top two options at left tackle. And then Yosh Nijman comes in there and has, held up pretty good overall over there at left tackle. Our third string left tackle, a guy who was an undrafted free agent. And then looking at Josh Myers, rookie center who had been playing pretty well, goes down with a knee injury, hasn't been playing for a while now. Lucas Patrick moves over there to center. And then last week, of course, Billy Turner goes down at right tackle, and Dennis Kelly, the guy the Packers picked up in this offseason, comes in there and fills in at right tackle. And right now, this Packers offensive line is without 4 of their 5 top offensive linemen. And the fact that the Packers have been able to withstand all these blows, and in the past 4 weeks have put up 30 straight points in 4 straight games, it's just amazing to see what this offensive line room has been able to do with all of the injuries they have sustained. And Aaron Rodgers was talking about it a little bit the other day, just, how good offensive line coach Adam Stenavich is at, getting these guys ready to play, because, there's been so much, so many different changes around this offensive line. And if we take a look at this past game versus the Ravens, sort of how good the Packers offensive line was, we only gave up 5 pressures in the entire game. 2 of those, which ended up being sacks. But overall, for majority of the game, Packers played really, really well. And now looking at the overall stats for this Packers offensive line this year. Right now, the Packers have the 8th best pass block unit graded by PFF. Then according to ESPN, the Packers have the 7th best pass block win rate. And then we take a look at run block win rate. The Packers have the 6th best run block win rate, but then PFF has them graded as the 25th run block unit in the NFL. So the fact that this Packers offensive line is a top 10 pass blocking unit is amazing, considering all the things that I've already talked about, all of the injuries that have happened, all the guys that have had to move around tons of different spots. They've been good enough to allow this Packers offense to get rolling, to get going, and I think coming into this final, stretch of the season, coming to the playoffs, the Packers are in a very, very good position with the offense playing as well as they have, with Aaron Rodgers balling out these past 2 games, even though he's been dealing with that toe injury. So maybe we'll get David Bakhtiari back, by the time the playoffs come around. That would honestly be great, but it's honestly just great to see this, offensive line hold up and play at a pretty high level. That is going to be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you've yet to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.